Hey, it's Rachel at From Moments to Milestones. We've got a new 3-card class featuring some dies from Spellbinders. We're going to create these 3 cards today. So if you get an instruction sheet, as usual, you get pictures of each card with written instructions and a list of supplies we used at the back. You won't need too many additional supplies today. You are going to need, you could get away with not using it, but we're going to use some tumbled glass distress ink and a blending brush. So we're going to jump in with this card, Gather and Give Thanks. And I'm going to dump everything out. Actually, I may be starting with the wrong one, but that's okay. I think on the instruction sheets I started with a different one, but that's okay. No big deal. So we're going to start, I'm going to pull out all my leaves. So you should have 4 different colored leaves. And each leaf has a coordinating stem. So the die cuts have embossed lines on there, if you can see them. So it should help you match them up. So I'm just going to take them. That one goes there. This longer one I know goes on this leaf here. This triangular shaped one goes on that. And I believe, yes, so we're going to glue those down, and then you should have 3 acorns, 3 different sizes, and they all have tops. Just like so. So all those pieces are going to need glued on, and then you're going to have, you should have some rhinestones, which we don't need at the moment. And then you have 3 red flowers, and you have a greenery piece. So on those 2 dots here, I think they may have been meant to be berries, but I'm going to stick my flowers on there, and then the other flower is just going to be on its own. So I'm going to glue all those things down, and then we'll be ready to assemble our card. All right, I have all of those images glued together, and now we're going to put the base of the card together. So you have a cream card base, and we're going to glue down this diamond embossed panel. And then this brown panel is going to go in the center of this card. And then this panel is going to go down, the cream with the decorative edge. And that's just going to get centered on the brown. And then we're going to build up our leaves. I'm going to start up, this is going, your little sentiment is going to go here. So you could put it down now if you want, but I'm going to kind of use it as a guide. I'm going to start there. And then we have, and I'm using this tape runner. You can use wet glue just in case I'm not happy with the placement. I can move it around. I did pop up these 2 acorns. Got one right there. And then these 2 are going to go like this. And then we have the, go ahead and use wet glue on these. And I can always go back and add if you use wet glue, then you can't really play around too much. So sometimes when I'm doing a big cluster, I like to use the now. Okay, I want that there. And I'm going to go ahead and put those down real quick before I put on that leaf or get an idea. I'll put this one down first. All right. And then this guy, like that. And then this one is coming out of there. You have to pull up that foam a little bit. All right, so there's my little cluster. And then this I did have just kind of tucked in like that. So I'll just put a little glue on the back. And you could really go anywhere, but I just have it in between the two. I'm going to trim some of that off, I think. There we go. There's my flowers. And then you have this other flower, which is by itself. I think I may have popped that flower up here. So let's get a little piece of foam and put on the back. I just have it over here to add some more red there. And then I am going to pop up this sentiment. Strip down the middle. I'm just going to use foam on that, so because it's color on color, it kind of helps with that, the shadow. Okay. I do not like the way that looks like it's up, so I'm going to pull it down a little. There we go. That looks better to me. All right, and then I'm going to finish with the these little rhinestones. Let's see, I like to use a craft knife so I can kind of get under there with them. And they're going to go in the flower or the centers of your flowers. One, two, oh, I didn't get the sticky. I'm going to put the sticky down first. Let's see if I can get that. You can always use wet glue. They have sticky on them. They usually stick pretty good. All right, so that card is all done. All right, we're going to do this next card, which if you were following along with written instructions is actually the first card listed. We're going to do this Grateful for You. Rhinestones in there. And we're going to start in the same way that we are just going to layer up the acorns with their tops and the leaves with their stems. So we're just going to match. We've got those same 4 leaves. We're going to match up the stems and then glue them on. And you've got just 2 acorns this time, so we'll match those up. So let me get those glued down and I'll be right back. All right, I've got all those glued down. So now you have this piece of twine. And you're going to need to cut it into 3 equal pieces or 3 3-inch pieces. So I'm going to just use my glass board here to get a measurement on that first one. And I will cut this one in half. And then what we're going to do is put them through each tag. And you don't need very much. So I'm just going to fold it in half, shove the loop through the back of the tag. And then open it up and stick those 2 little pieces through the loop. And pull. Just like that. Actually, I probably should have came through the front. Okay, I lied. So fold your twine in half. I've got glue on my fingers. Let me get it off. Okay. Fold your twine in half. Put the loop through the front. Then stick the 2 ends back through the loop and then pull those ends. Okay, so we're going to repeat that on all 3 tags. All right, I've got that twine on there. So now we're going to build up our card base. So you do have a piece of brown cardstock with this window cut out. We cut that window out and used it on the first card we made. Just conserving paper here. So I'm just going to put that onto the cream card base. I could have done that better. I'll just trim off this edge. I can see some cream there, so I'll just put that in my trimmer and trim that off. All right, and then we are going to put that piece down, and no one's going to be able to tell there was supposed to be something there. I'm just going to center that on the brown. All right, and then we're going to put foam on the back of these tags. And we are going to evenly space them on this cream panel. All right, so I have foam on the back of them. I have the backing removed from this one, and I'm just going to use my glass mat here to center my card. And then I'm going to put this in the center, about a 1/2 inch or so up from the top. And then I'm just going to lightly press it down, and I've got a T-ruler. And I'm just going to use it to make sure the bottom is straight. And it looks good to me, so I'm going to press that down. And then I can use that as a guide for my others. So this one is going to get centered there. So let me pull off the backing on this one. So we're just going to center that. So I'll do the same thing with this one. All right. So there is that. We have the tags on, and so now we're just going to go in and layer up our images. So those 2 go on there. I'm going to layer them up first. I didn't use any foam. then this sentiment goes right there. So I'm happy with that. On the right side, I have the yellow and the green and glue. And then over here we have the red and the orange. Just like that. So there's that. And then on the sentiment, if you want, I did use foam. You wouldn't have to, but foam down the center. Just when you're putting color on color, sometimes that foam gives the shadow and makes it stand out. So I'm just going to center that on there. Just like that. And we're going to finish off. We have 3 little jewels here. Down there. That card is finished. Okay, I've got one final card here, Sending Autumn Cheer. And let's see, let's start. This time we're going to layer up the trees. So you should have a solid red rounder tree with a yellow top. And then you should have this red solid with a orange, or an orange solid with the red top, with the detail. So we're going to glue those on top of each other. All right, so there's those 2 trees, and then you've got your tree trunks. And we're going to glue them right on top. You could certainly glue them to the back. I feel like you lose the shape. This one doesn't look so much like a tree without the, to me personally. So it's a preference, whatever you want to do, but I'm going to glue them to the front. And my glue will dry clear, so you won't be able to see all that white. One is slightly off center. There we go. All right. So while those dry, we are going to, this is where you will need the blue ink. If you're going to add it, you can see the blue behind the trees there. So you have this mirrored arch label. Your grass is going to go at the bottom. And I'm just going to get some blue ink on my brush and just lightly in the center and work my way out. see if that's good. That's all we want. So if we can see that. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more. Okay, we're going to call that good. I'm going to go ahead and add the green grass to the bottom. The line right up. And then this piece here is going to get glued down to your card base. And then we're going to put this piece, we're just going to glue that straight down. And it goes right in the center. I did not glue that grass down very good, but I used wet glue, so that's fine. Okay. And now I did pop up the front tree. So this one is going to go right here, and the front one's going to get popped. So I'll put some foam on the back, a little piece on the stem or the trunk. All right, so I'm just going to overlap it, put it down ever so slightly, like so. And I did pop up the autumn cheer, so I'm going to put foam on that. And I have it down here and hanging off slightly, making sure that is straight. And then we have these little gold and red leaves. So I have a couple over here. Got 3 more. I've got a red one here. All right. We're going to finish with the little essential gems here. All right, that card is finished. All right, thanks so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this Falling Leaves card class. If you're interested in a kit, you can click on the link in the description box and search our card kit inventory there. This is the Spellbinders Falling Leaves card kit. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.